What themed rides?
That themes around nature, around Bristol's history, about its local history, and also about its how it's expanded and how its diversity and its kind of geography, how it's spread out and how the cycle paths have spread out. So like I said, I mean, Bristol's probably, if not the most cycle-friendly city in the UK, it's certainly one of them. So I didn't realise that there was another way to get to Bath, for example.
Yeah.
Rather than going up the A4 or on the train, you can, although it's a slightly longer way round, but it's a wonderful ride.
It's really pretty.
It's lovely, really nice, and that was the first ride I ever did. So so in those terms, it's taught me a lot about where I live, and made me more kind of appreciate being down here.
Brilliant. How did you benefit from having access to a low-cost refurbished bike?
Oh, massively. Couldn't have done it without Bike Minded, because I haven't got a lot of money coming in, so I'm not working. When I do occasionally work, it's within certain parameters of the rules of kind of benefits and stuff. So the chance to save up and buy a bike is just not realistic. So to get a bike and a lock and a reflective jacket, because it wasn't just the bicycle, it was lights and a D-lock and things that came with it. And I think I paid £35, and that was incredibly affordable.
Yeah.
Definitely. Even kind of those towards the bottom of the income scale kind of scrape that together over a little period of time, and then they've got the freedom then to go out on the bike, because of course it's not just the rides, you're then free to go out whenever you like on the thing.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a lot of freedom. It's suddenly just from not owning a car to owning a car. Most people who own a car kind of take it for granted because they've had it for years and years and years. But if they remember back to the very first time they were given the keys to a car and the freedom it gives you, it's almost like the equivalent of that with a bicycle as well. Because whereas you're not going to walk 6 miles probably somewhere, but you might just fancy cycling 6 miles.
Yeah.
And that means you can get to somewhere that otherwise you might have been put off going to through distance. And the cost of public transport in Bristol is extortionate, and you may already know that. So to avoid using that wherever possible, that's where the bike comes in. That's been a massive benefit.
Were you nervous before your first Bike Minded ride?
Yes, a little bit, because I hadn't met any of the people. I'd met Heather, and Heather was on the ride, so I knew Heather, so I kind of... But yes and no. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to it, but yeah, a little bit apprehensive, because you don't know what the other people will be like. As it turned out, it wasn't a very well attended ride, so the first one, so I didn't get to meet that many people, so actually, a little just apprehensive, not overly nervous, no.
Okay.
But
I wanted to ask as well, what would you say to someone who's considering going on a Bike Minded ride but felt nervous or worried about joining in for the first time?
First thing is, I would encourage them to do it, because you're well looked after on the ride. There are the people who they don't really marshal the ride, because they go on it themselves and enjoy it. The staff enjoy it for themselves, But the staff that come along, they really take good care of the people, particularly if you're a new rider, and they make sure everyone introduces it, do all the introductions, and they have someone at the back and someone at the front of the group. So if someone is a little bit unconfident, a bit unsure, having not been on a bike for a long time, they can just position themselves in the pack or close to the front, close to the back, and they know they've got that group leader, for company. And then of course you've got people who've done a few rides who are more experienced, and they're very helpful as well. I think what I would say is just to do, obviously to start small and then build up, because we're not Bradley Wiggins, so we can't go on a 30-40 mile ride if you've not been on a bike for years,
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just gonna be able to move for a week afterwards, so a short ride, and they do vary in length, so pick a ride that kind of suits you, and I guarantee that you will enjoy it. It's a good experience.